If you like what we do here on Skiba News Nation, please like and subscribe, and also share with others so we can grow the biggest truth-seeking community on the internet. Huge shout out to all of our Patreons out there. If you like bonus content, you want some extra Skiba News Nation stuff, please go to patreon.com/Skiba News Nation.
Welcome to Skiba News Nation, bringing you unfiltered views, news, interviews, discussions, and more. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Skiba, award-winning musician and son of Rob Skiba.
With the son of the legendary Rob Skiba, Jeremiah Skiba, what's up?
With my great and insightful co-host, Mr. Jake Graham.
Dude, someone should do conspiracy news. It would be 10 times better than what you see on television.
It's like I don't even want to wake up.
He's on a quest for truth.
I want to read you a little bit of my book. Grief and What It Really Is. Let me start by saying I don't believe in the 5 stages of grief. Maybe that helps some people, but for me, grief isn't something you move through like a checklist. It's something that lives with you. Losing my mom is something I'll never get over. The day she passed, I felt a deep anger. Not at God, not at anyone, but at the unfairness of it all. How could someone so full of faith, so health conscious, who prayed and sought healing every day, still be taken by cancer? That's something I may never fully understand. But here's what I do know. My mom would want me to hold on to my faith. She'd want me to keep going, to turn that pain and anger into something good. Something that honors her. So that's what I'm trying to do. I carry her with me every day, not in stages, but in strength, in love, and in purpose. There's a lot of sadness in this world, and a lot of anger too. But the truth is, blind anger doesn't change anything. It just burns everything around it. But when that anger is focused, when it is born out of truth, love, and a desire for greatness, it becomes something powerful. It becomes fuel. Every change in human history began with someone who felt that same kind of righteous anger. The key is to take that pain, take that frustration, and aim it towards something good. Because when anger is guided by purpose, it is not destruction anymore. It is restoration in the revolution. Is. Hey Skiba News Nation family, welcome to episode 148 of Skiba News Nation, your weekly source for the latest news, controversial topics, conspiracies, forgotten history, and so much more. I'm your host Jeremiah Skiba, and here's my co-host, Mr. Jake Graham. Welcome, Jake.
Hey, what's up, guys?
So first,
I love your new book, man. Super excited for it.
Yeah, dude, you can now get it on Amazon at $7.77. I wanted it to be cheap because if it could help just one person, that's what matters to me. And every dollar we make from the book is going to my mom's favorite charity. So, homeless charity, I should say. So, get your copy, Jeremiah Skiba, Memories of My Mom, The Butterfly, the Boy, and the King. Some cool photos in there, some personal notes. I know that there are people like me that live with grief and in losing parents, and I feel like it's important. But I also got another book, but we'll get into that later. How are you doing, Jake?
Doing great. I've had a really great week. This week I made a fun little 30-second short with a crazy like neon jellyfish hat thing. I wanted to show you guys before we got into the show. You want to check it out?
Let's see it.
Your own understanding, live and die for the truth. Don't be built on the sand, defying lies left and right. Proud people still standing, time after time, take repentance for granted. Wicked the pattern, it's the trouble you're damned in. It's the trouble you're damned in. Trouble you stand in.
If anybody out there wants to help me make them, let me know.
Okay. You heard him, guys. Anybody out there? I'm sure there's somebody out there, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, maybe I could figure it out. Like, we'll have to see. But
Well, you got too
anyways,
much time on your hands doing the show. So you got some good current news for me
Sweet.
today?
Yeah, guys, we are living at a very important time in history. There's a lot of things happening, and it's almost so much. It's going to be hard to catch everything, so please forgive me what I miss. But we got some important stuff to talk about this week.
All right. Let's do it. Love that new intro.
Okay, so when we see things like this, silver hitting all-time highs, we start to see that there's a lot of people buying resources very quickly. We're seeing gold all-time highs, and generally when people have a distrust in the future stability of the world, they buy precious metals. And so we're going to show first a quick Jason A clip and a gentleman that predicted what's going on in the world today in an interesting way. I thought it was pretty timely, and we'll get into some other very pressing news like the destabilization of Iran and various other pressing matters. Check this out.
Looking at a new world order.
Yeah, I mean, another conspiracy theory that has started coming true. I mean, we saw this announcement in September. It took everybody by surprise. The World Economic Forum had been pushing digital IDs, the United Nations, the European Union, Britain. Of course, the really terrifying example is China, which uses digital IDs and a social credit score to control speech and to control what people think and say online.
I wish to thank the sponsors for inviting me. I don't often get invited. This was an important debate. I had planned another closing message, but I feel compelled to say what I'm about to say. Now, I risk sounding like a conspiracy theorist, but it's no longer a theory. What I'm about to say is fact. The secret organizations of the world power elite are no longer secret. They have planned and are now leading us into a one-world communist government. The combining of national governments started with the European Union. That union started with trade agreements, then a common currency, the euro, and now a European Parliament that is feverishly passing laws that override the laws of the member nations. A constitution was drafted but rejected by a few of those nations, but never mind. They implemented it anyway. Now it's North America's turn. Building on the North American Free Trade Agreement, the NAFTA section of the Commerce Department is busy drafting laws and regulations for a North American Union, a union of Canada, America, and Mexico. The President has attended secret meetings and signed at least 2 agreements under the Security and Prosperity Partnership Program. Information leaked out about the meetings, and now it is all in the open. No treaty has been signed, so Congress has not become involved. However, money from our Treasury is now being spent for this effort. We will have a new currency, the Amero, and a new constitution modeled on the Soviet Union's constitution. Our rights will not be inalienable, but they will be granted by government, who can also take them away. One sign that this is our future is the plans for the superhighways from southern Mexico through America and into Canada. These plans are not secret any longer. Huge amounts of property will be taken in the name of free trade, peace, and security. You will have a national ID card with a radio frequency chip in it. That's already law in America and will be implemented by May 2000. This man voted for it. You will not be able to move about freely. This is terrorism of the most worst kind, brought on you by our own government. The strongest, freest nation in the history of mankind will be averaged into world communism. Is that what you want? Are we the people still in control of this nation? We must begin to act like we are.
Thank you. Stan Jones. On that, Conrad Burns, 3 minutes.
Sure glad you got such a rosy outlook on our future for our kids.
Do you see any of the little alerts about the new iPhone update? Guess what? It's going to let you add your passport to your Apple Wallet. It creates something called a digital ID that you can use whenever you need to show ID, including at the airport, to get on domestic flights, for a lot of things. And it sounds super nifty and so convenient. Everything in one place. Well, if you think that, you must have more trust in big tech safeguarding your privacy than I do. But at least here in the United States, this idea of a digital ID is optional, at least for now. But in the UK, it looks like the digital ID will soon be mandatory, at least if you want to work.
This government will make a new free of charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work by the end of this Parliament. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. It's as simple as that.
Well, it's not simple. And you notice it's at the Global Progress meeting. Well, it's not simple, and it's being pushed by people in high places and with big tech connections, like former PM Tony Blair.
I'm going to pause for a moment, guys, if that's all right, because we've got some other breaking news tonight, and this is from Westminster involving the UK government and their plans for digital ID cards. John Craig, our chief political correspondent, is with us. John, I remember not that long ago, sat on this very chair announcing that the government are going to bring in digital ID cards, mandatory for all workers. Has this now been ditched?
Looks like it. It was September. The Prime Minister made a big speech at a conference of progressives, and where he talked tough in that speech. There, he said that you will not be able to work in the UK if you don't have a digital ID. It's as simple as that. The scheme would make it tougher to work illegally in this country, making our borders more secure. We've always been clear. Details on the digital ID scheme will be set out following a full public consultation, which will be launched shortly. Well, not sure the Prime Minister was talking about that last September. And then the government still says digital ID will make everyday lives easier for people, ensuring public services are more personal.
The NHS in the UK has an incredible amount of population data, but it's fragmented. It's not easily accessible by these AI models. We have to take all of this data we have in our country and move it into a single, if you will, unified data platform.
A unified data platform. Well, what could possibly go wrong with that?
It's quite terrifying, and when you just listen to what the advocates for digital IDs say, it's terrifying. And, you know, Laura, one thing I learned from this last round of investigations is that this is a huge cybersecurity threat. The idea that, I mean, imagine if you get hacked in one of the many websites that you log into. Imagine everything suddenly being hacked because it's all centralized in a single place. That cybersecurity threat alone ought to be enough to kill the digital ID. But again, this is potentially digital totalitarianism.
Well, remember China hacked into, I think it was Office of Personnel Management, and got, untold numbers of government workers' records, their home addresses, phone numbers, Social Security. I mean, that's the U.S. government. Like, we're supposed to be the most secure system around. So that's an issue. But, the argument also... Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, no, I was going to say hacks happen all the time. I mean, there's huge hacks. Governments get hacked.
At the World Economic Forum back in January, push for this. I think we have the soundbite.
I propose putting an end to anonymity on social media. Citizens have the right to privacy, not to anonymity or impunity. We must push forward the principle of pseudonymity as the functioning element of social media. and force all these platforms to link every user account to an European digital identity wallet.
Okay, so just like this says, if you aren't a conspiracy theorist by now, you're the big R word. Change my mind.
Yep.
And you know, it's not that we have to doom and gloom about it. I mean, Trump's not, even when he's being called a you know what. Trump flips off heckler after being called PDF protector. I don't know why I censored protector, but proector.
He was the only person.
Proector.
Yeah, he was the only person that helped Florida in the Epstein case that actually got Epstein convicted, allegedly. That's what his defense attorney said.
We're seeing this across the world. It's pretty interesting. You know, all of these news stories make me think of a red flag. Check this out. Tehran, Iran, January 13th. Millions of Iranian protesters. There's over thousands and thousands of casualties of mass shooting events happening, and they're still protesting. It's we need to pay attention to stuff like this because they don't have a central bank. Is it a coincidence we're seeing things like this? Iran's leader flees to Russia on passenger plane. What a heck of a Delta flight, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and you know, here's another take of those protests happening in the streets.
Look at them all. Look at them all.
So, breaking, millions of Iranians continue to protest after 12,000 death toll. It's probably much higher by now, but just yeah, a pretty serious thing happening on the world. Here's another angle. Go ahead, Opa.
Yeah, I read this morning where the Iran government has shut down the internet so that a lot of these images can't get back or get out into the internet. And Musk has supplied free Starlink interface to everybody.
That's interesting.
But now the Iran government has somehow figured out how to
intercept,
block it. And so now Trump has asked Musk to see if he can figure out a way to circumvent the blockage. And his people have been sending updates to the satellites and to circumvent it, but then the government figures out how to block it again, and then they send up another software update, and then it's okay for about an hour or so. But that's the only way they can get images out. As a matter of fact, the ones you're watching, I think, came via the Starlink.
Wow. And there we have it, gentlemen, the beginning of the Star Wars. Done.
Until Kathleen Kennedy messed it all up.
Yeah, man, that lady. I was a big Star Wars fan, by the way, Jeremiah. I had hundreds of chapter books from the Legends universe, now Disney discanonified, right?
Mm-hmm.
And man, I was really invested, and they just totally took that whole thing and made it a woke piece of crap.
Well, I'm so glad my dad wasn't alive to see it, that part of it. He would have been so pissed, because he edited Star Wars into the order that he would have done it if he was the director or the editor or director. Which if I could find those, that would be pretty epic. But I don't know how I would share them with you guys. But
private screenings,
maybe. We'll see what we can do.
Hey, in kind of more homegrown news, we have this. Nobody is above reproach. Check it out.
Bill Clinton did not show up, and I think it's important to note that this subpoena was voted on in a bipartisan manner by this committee. This wasn't something that I just issued as chairman of the committee. This was voted on by the entire committee in a unanimous vote of the House Oversight Committee to subpoena former President Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Now, Hillary Clinton's supposed to show up tomorrow. We'll see what happens there. But with respect to the former president, he did not show up today. One reason I think most Americans want President Clinton to answer some questions is because he visited the White House. Jeffrey Epstein visited the White House 17 times while Bill Clinton was president. I've been in Congress 9 years. I think I've been to the White House 9 times in 9 years. Epstein was in the White House double the amount of time that I was under one president. And then we know that Bill Clinton flew on Epstein's plane somewhere around 27 times after the presidency. So no one's accusing Bill Clinton of any wrongdoing. We just have questions, and that's why the Democrats voted along with Republicans to subpoena Bill Clinton. Not a single Democrat showed up today. Not a single Democrat. The ones that have press conferences on the Capitol steps and talk about how they're trying to get justice for the victims and all that. It just seems like they only care about questioning Republicans. And we've had a former Trump cabinet secretary, Acosta, in for a grilling. We had Bill Barr, former attorney general, in for a grilling. But for whatever reason, President Clinton didn't show up, and the Democrats on the committee don't seem to have a problem. This is the amount of preparation that went into this deposition today. These were the questions that we were prepared to ask. We've communicated with President Clinton's legal team for months now, giving them opportunity after opportunity to come in, to give us a date, and they continue to delay to the point where we had no idea whether they're going to show up today or not. I think it's very disappointing. As a result of Bill Clinton not showing up for his lawful subpoena, which again was voted on unanimously by the committee in a bipartisan manner, we will move next week in the House Oversight Committee markup to hold former President Clinton in contempt of Congress. I think everyone knows by now Bill Clinton.
Oh, very interesting. As we see the swamp being investigated, hoorah! I can't tell you how much I was entertained by what just recently happened. I can't tell if Trump did this to expose Marco Rubio, or if he was just demonstrating, like, if it was a total gaffe and he, accidentally didn't read the note right, maybe. But check this out. It's really interesting. Rubio hands Trump a note, a private note, and he accidentally reads it out loud in this, hearing thing. Check this out.
What number?
12 billion.
How much?
12 billion.
Well, it's a good write-off.
It's already been written off.
It's been written. All right, thank you. You'll make it back one way or the other. You're all going to do very well. I think really very well. Marco just gave me a note. Go back to Chevron. They want to discuss something. Go ahead. I'm going back to Chevron, Marco. Thank you, Marco.
Was there a question, Mr. President?
Yes, go ahead, Marco. What are you saying here?
Mark, if you can update us.
Behind, I guess.
Okay, so what we just saw in real time was some type of Chevron-related business inquiry that had to be slipped into this conversation, and he accidentally read the note out loud. And that's exactly how government seems to work. What do you think about that scene, Jeremiah? Do you think he did it on purpose, or do you think it was an accident? That's my first question.
Okay, well, I think he just read it to read it, because I don't think he understood what was. I don't think he knew what Marco was trying to say with that, but I also know that him and other people inside of his cabinet like to mess with Marco Rubio. So I don't know why you would mess with him on a big stage like this, but either way, it's funny. I mean, it's almost like an auction, you know, like they're trying to auction something. Somebody's like, no, we need to, you know, slip this over here, and we need to stay over here. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the reason some of these conversations go that way, and there's all, like, they have to bring up some of their constituents, because that's why their constituents pay them, is for their interests. They're like, hey, we'll support you if you support us. And we bring business to your state. We bring business to your representatives, and you make sure our name gets mentioned when the big boys are making the rules.
Right.
And speaking of government corruption, you know, this is a recent clip from
You have arrived.
Minneapolis, Minnesota. It looks like a doomsday apocalypse.
This is
like
what I get a kick out of.
Leftover city after everybody's been vacated by the military.
People and property.
Where's
Without
their
people,
people's
there isn't property.
There's power. Look at the people like burning a fire in the middle of a gas station. Like
You have arrived.
It's like they wanted the
crazy.
George Floyd riots, but nobody showed up.
Yeah, well, this is after the fact of all the riots that have just recently taken place because of the ICE shooting, which we also see is a detractor and a distractor on the midnight headlines from all these other pressing things. And just to kind of tap into this vein of thinking, a lot of people can trace the conception of their conspiracy seeking mind and their critical analysis back to a very important event that happened in the 21st century.
Lies that we are living in what John Rappaport calls the matrix of lies. It's now known that the Twin Towers were condemned in 1988, and they became an immediate $2 billion insurance albatross on the states of New York and New Jersey. People need to understand that the Twin Towers were owned by the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey until July of the year in which Zionist Israel took down the Twin Towers with the complicity of Dick Cheney and Donald Rumsfeld. What I believe happened is that in 1990, Dick Cheney was privately briefed by Benjamin Netanyahu, and they said, "Praise be to the Lord. This is a terrorist incident in the future that will justify a police state in the United States and endless war abroad." It's absolutely crystal clear that 9/11 was controlled demolitions, and that the Pentagon was either a missile or an inside-out explosion. First off, the engines and the wings never go into the building. Second off, you have luggage and body parts and seats everywhere. By the way, the FBI and the CIA were complicit in 9/11 before and after the fact. The CIA and the FBI confiscated videotapes of evidence. This was a U.S. government operation. So 9/11 is what turned me on to the reality that my government was lying to us about everything. 9/11 is what...
Because of 9/11, New York is that center point for false flag kind of shenanigans. And so just recently, somebody was sharing that boxes full of NYPD uniforms are being discovered abandoned on the side of the road.
Oh my gosh.
And so when we think of protests and stuff, do you guys remember watching, The Dark Knight, the Christopher Nolan film with Joker?
Oh yeah.
Well, what would he wear to operate and go around? What would the Joker do? He'd put on a disguise.
Yep.
Black Swan event imploded on the land, bro. Why was there a box full of NYPD uniforms found on the side of the street, bro? NYPD uniforms, bro. There might be a Black Swan event.
Okay, so Black Swan event, false flag event, red flags, juggling balls of crazy conspiracy horror. Check this out. The internet is convinced that pizza ordered near the U.S. Pentagon predict war, and they might actually be right. So the pizza meter is a term coined by intelligence communities and internet sleuths alike. It currently is flashing its most significant warning signal ever. while tonight's report, a 1,250% surge in orders near the Pentagon, it's unprecedented and it follows a disturbing pattern of accuracy. For context, the pizza index reached a 700% spike just hours before the U.S. launched military operations in Venezuela. And why does this stand out? Well, because when military action is necessary, the people that call those shots get hungry because those, big brain boys, they need to eat their slice. What are your thoughts on some of these crazy signs of the times? The pizza, the crazy destabilization of protest place, Iran, Minnesota.
I mean, I just think it's crazy that pizza is a thing that they want while they're doing war. It's just a funny, I don't know, it's kind of interesting. Why not, Chinese food or something,
Well, I think what it is they're working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they got to have something to eat, and they got to have it fast, and so they order pizza and for everybody while they're all working in the Pentagon trying to figure out, how do I attack this? How do I blow this up? How do I do this, that, and the other? And pizza delivered, and then they eat and still work while they're eating.
Opa, I'm interested to know, because you've been in New York City, what do you think about those boxes of police uniforms in the city?
I think that's very, very strange.
It's sketchy.
Yeah, very sketchy.
So weird.
Yeah. Yeah, the boxes in New York make me think of, false flag attacks. It's like somebody who wants to destabilize these society, they're giving protesters tools to be more effective and destructive. And that's what's terrifying about it is it's like the same way that the American government destabilizes other societies with the CIA and these, insurgencies, stirring up the protesters. That's being done on American soil in New York City and places like where the protests have happened recently. The same thing that we saw just recently with Venezuela when they got 700% more pizza orders, and now when there's a 1,250%, it's even bigger. Well, the same thing happened in June 2025 when the strike on Iran was ordered. They ordered a bunch of pizza then too. So the correlation is really interesting. The phenomena was first identified long time ago by conspiracy theorists during the Gulf War in the early 1990s. Avid watchers and protesters against some of the military action of the U.S. government identified, that they would order pizza when and I think this is why, Jeremiah, you asked why not Chinese food, why is it pizza, right? Pizza is a communal dish. If you think about it, it's sliced into, 8 slices or 10 slices or square cut or whatever. And it's this type of food you would feed people that are all boxed into a room together, working on stuff, thinking, being close, because it doesn't take a lot of, plates and utensils. It doesn't take, the mess. You just have the boxes, you grab a slice, and you go back right at it. And I think that's why the choice is pizza. When the world's calling for war, you call the pizza man.
Yep. Call the pizza man. We should write a folk song about it. Opa could do it. Help us write that folk song.
I think you're onto something. I think we should really take some of the things we're learning from the conspiracy unfolding and incorporate it into folk history.
Yep, for sure.
So here, this next clip is just a little example of how the left is trying to convince protesters to take to the streets by portraying Donald Trump like this.
9 million barrels of oil on December 10th.
We're going to keep it. We're keeping it.
Where's it? Are we going to sell it or put it in the strategic?
Maybe we'll sell it. Maybe we'll keep it. Maybe we'll use it in the strategic reserves. We're keeping it. We're keeping the ships also. Yeah, please.
Sir, have you spoken to American oil companies that have had their assets seized about what a post-Maduro Venezuela would mean for them, what coming back and restarting operations?
The big ones, yeah. I have. Yeah, please.
The United States seized 1.
What is it?
I mean, yeah, we're gonna keep it. It's ours. It's ours now. But I mean, who can blame them? What do you do when you destabilize the regime of a nation that's corrupt and in bed with the mafia and the South American cartel and whatever, all them narco terrorists? You can't just give them back their oil. And how do you trust anybody? You gotta be like the dispenser of an estate.
El Donald El Trumpo. Is that what it was? The X?
Yeah.
Those are great.
Yeah. I love how that X account was made whenever Twitter kicked Trump off originally, and then just within like a day, that El Dono Trumpo, they came up with the mustache, and it was like, yeah, that's fun.
May or may not have been Trump.
Who knows? I think it's probably one of his sons or somebody in his family or a handler. They're like, this is gonna be hilarious. You're gonna meme the heck out of him. Hey, we had a chance to interview Kay Podgee. You guys should definitely see that interview and
She's
that live
real.
stream Jeremiah and Lindsay did. She is real. I really enjoyed this clip she put out recently. Check this out.
I don't even know what's going on anymore.
Want to prank your friend? They were caught on a hidden camera stealing chicken from the supermarket. Just upload their photo, pick the effect, and boom. You fooled them. Try it free now and don't miss the trend.
I have been.
So you can prank your friend by saying that they were caught on a hidden camera stealing meat by uploading one of their pictures onto an AI app. From the rip, this is exactly what I've always thought that Google VO and like all of those would function as. I think we're getting really close to a full surveillance state, and we just don't know it yet because we don't have full disclosure. And we all know they're trying to get us to stop eating meat. I don't know the exact reason why, but they want us to cut down on our meat consumption. So the fact that AI apps are running ads to get you to download this so that you could, practice framing your friends. There is just so much wrong here. There's a million reasons why I feel that Jesus is coming back very, very soon. I don't know when, but soon for sure. This is adding like 10 drops into the bucket. The fact that they're giving disclosure for what they're probably setting up society to do is crazy. If you don't know him, find him now. This is just so dystopian.
Yeah, so dystopian is right, and it's crazy because we've predicted this for years, Jeremiah. You particularly were very focused on how AI could be used to frame individuals, and we knew this was coming way back when, and now we're seeing that the system is setting up a conduit for people to report their friends, and it's just like AI can be used to be like, oh, look, I made it look like you're a criminal. And so what they're going to push is the digital ID and the identity. You have to prove who you are and what you're doing at all times. And so it's going to need to be on you. You can track where people are based on their cell phones with like Wi-Fi routers and stuff like that. And so, that's how you'll be able to prove your signature, because in real time, your location, your identity, your biology, all that will be in a big blockchain that will be your proof of reality, and that's how everybody can then be controlled by the system.
What a funny prank, right? I would love to prank you, Jake, by making it look like you're stealing something. That's not a prank. That's a a-hole. That's what that is. That's not a friend.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, they're setting it up to be self-justifying. It's the problem action solution, right? And so people are going to start complaining, hey, I'm being framed, and then they're going to say, oh, well, here's our solution, your permanent identification.
Right. I often wonder what my dad would think about all this AI stuff, because it wasn't around when he was here. Like, what would he think about it, I don't know. We'll never know.
I think he'd have been very excited about the creative possibilities.
Oh yeah.
And I think he would also recognize that it's hand in hand with the carrot on the end of the beast stick, right? It's like, hey, how much do you want to play with my shiny thing? And he kind of lures you all the way into the cave with the stick, and the carrot, and you follow the carrot, and you end up in a cage eventually. And so as long as we participate, we're playing that game, we're engaging with the system, but it has so much creative potential, and it's like the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. It's like, not only do you risk it, but you also can benefit from the increase of knowledge.
He often used to say you got to be just as good at telling the truth as you are at telling lies, which means to me that he would learn it in order to combat it, if that makes sense. But use the tools for, like, to make seed or whatever. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So, by the way, just recently the Pope has been saying things that make the wandering Protestants probably more interested in ecumenicalism than ever before.
The 14th has condemned Orwellian free speech restrictions in the West.
Especially in the West, the space for genuine freedom of expression is rapidly shrinking. At the same time, a new Orwellian-style language is developing, which, in an attempt to be increasingly inclusive, ends up excluding those who do not conform to the ideologies that are fueling it.
Maybe we're gonna go to Mass this Sunday. What do y'all think? Pope Leo?
We're seeing crazy changeovers in the Catholic Church that for years they were very focused on the veneration of Mary, and then Pope Leo comes in and he makes a statement. By the way, there's some signs in the sky coming up at the beginning of March this year. March 3rd, the moon will turn blood red for 82 minutes. Nearly 6 billion will have a chance to witness it. So we often see sometimes these world events line up with interesting signs in the sky, and I don't always know if the people are self-interpreting and then taking action because they're motivated by the big pretty thing that they saw last night, or if it's more akin to the clock that the Almighty put in the sky for signs, seasons, and appointed time, is what it says in Bereshit. And that's something to consider. Here's another clip from Cape Podgee. Radiation fog forming over Florida.
That's crazy. And she's saying
it's funny she showed
with
this.
ease. Like it's no big deal.
It's like that's how they tell you you're eating poisonous. They say, oh yeah, the food you eat is going to kill you. Haha, wink wink, making you think, oh, they're being sarcastic, but they're not. They're telling you exactly what's up.
Yep.
Oh man. Yeah, it's like it's like that guy at the butcher. He's like, hey, come here. This bacon's to die for. To die for. Just get this nice little pouch of poison. I thought this was a really motivating clip. I'm just going to slip it in here because I liked it. Breaking the cycle that we often are in is so important in the days that we live. You must break the pattern, or the loop will repeat tomorrow. I know it's kind of like a, one of those like crazy motivational videos, but I think I realized that is the whole system is set up to convince people to operate in loops, and that's how they get people to fuel their operation. Yeah, the whole basis of reality is having people to work. It doesn't matter how much wealth you have on a deserted island. If you don't have somebody to pay to do stuff, that money is worthless to you. Check this out. It's another funny meme describing all of the recent medical studies coming out, trying to explain all of the cases of cancer and heart attacks that are happening in youth in unprecedented number. Well, what is it? It's the government trying to keep the COVID story up. It's like a collapsing building for those of you who are listening online. It's a collapsing building being propped up by like wood beams and stuff. Oh man. So what is it that we see coming? And this guy's an advisor to the world on basically into the position of controlling and turning humans into hackable animals. And it's all tied to this loop that they want to put us in, which is why I wanted to share that night, break the cycle or it will continue, right? Well, the way that they're going to control the world is by figuring out the minds of man and putting us in a box where, we can't help anything but to give in.
Now, in the past, many tyrants and governments wanted to do it, but nobody understood biology well enough. And nobody had enough computing power and data to hack millions of people. Neither the Gestapo nor the KGB could do it. But soon, at least some corporations and governments will be able to systematically hack all the people. We humans should get used to the idea that we are no longer mysterious souls. We are now hackable animals. Science is replacing evolution by natural selection with evolution by intelligent design. Not the intelligent design of some god above the clouds, but our intelligent design and the intelligent design of our clouds. The IBM cloud, the Microsoft cloud, these are the new driving forces of evolution. So does the data about my DNA, my brain, my body, my life, does it belong to me or to some corporation or to the government or perhaps to the human collective? Humans are now hackable animals. The whole idea that humans have, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over. Free will, that's over. That's over. Today, we have the technology to hack human beings on a massive scale. Yeah, everything is being digitalized. Everything is being monitored. In this time of crisis, you have to follow science. It's often said that you should never allow a good crisis to go to waste, because a crisis is an opportunity to also do good reforms that in normal times people will never agree to. But in a crisis, you see, we have no chance. So let's do it.
Won't help us go.
It will help us, of course. It will make things, more manageable. Surveillance. People could look back in 100 years and identify the coronavirus epidemic as the moment when a new regime of surveillance took over, especially surveillance under the skin, which I think is maybe the most important development of the 21st century, is this ability to hack human beings, to go under the skin, collect biometric data, analyze it, and understand people better than they understand themselves. This, I believe, is maybe the most important event of the 21st century. Now,
okay, so I show this clip because from the mouth of one of the top advisors for the system that we see rolling out technologically across the world, he literally defined the Hegelian dialectic right before your eyes, just then, there, where he said, you can't let any thing to go to waste. All the bad things in the world can be used. So then we're going to see things like this being rolled out. And this is exactly what we're watching. Is the problem is before us, ladies and gentlemen. You heard what they want to give us. You heard what they want to push us all towards. So what are they using as the cattle prod? Check this out. When everyone's celebrating gold and silver all-time highs, but you remember what that means. It's the world connected, so they have to destroy the old world for us to get there. And speaking of destroying the old world, here was a time lapse of the parking lot that's being made over in the Middle East. Sorry to be insensitive, but so what we're seeing here is a time lapse of the building destruction that has been rained on Gaza between January 2024 and September 2025. Look at that change.
That's crazy. So crazy.
And of course, this is all very justified because of the atrocities of October, that fateful day, and the paragliders that were flying into the country. I mean, I think that's what really bothers me about just some of the nature of false flags and how negative, evil men are permitted to be negative and evil. The wolf's allowed into the pen so that the farmer can justify going across the field and destroying the forest. And I think that's kind of the metaphor that I feel from things like this. Okay, just a few more little things here as we wrap it up.
To our nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gabfest show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. We have been honed into a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you know what's good for you. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We've seen war. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you.
Human decisions are removed from strategic defense. Skynet begins to learn at a geometric rate. It becomes self-aware at 2:14 a.m. Eastern Time, August 29th. In a panic, they try to pull the plug.
Skynet fights back.
Yes.
exit wound. How they're designed is to make the target feel like they're crazy, like they're imagining things, especially on the low duration, the low intensity, long duration hits.
Are either of you aware of any individuals who have AHI symptoms have passed away from their ailments?
I do.
I do.
Have any of you three panelists ever seen one of these weapons?
I have seen a 1991 version of the weapon, and it looks like a satellite dish with a unit this size attached to it. And of course, over the years, miniaturization has been possible. Obviously, there's a limitation to how miniaturized it can be because of the antenna size, which is always related to the wave. But still, it is something that can be well contained in the trunk of a car or even a large backpack.
Oh yeah, by the way, on a lighter note, I'm so sorry guys. I know this has been a very dark episode, but I want to show it because these are red flags that are coming and hitting so quick that in just a few weeks' time, I'm sure there's going to be even more that we're not going to keep up. And so I'm sorry for all the balls that I drop. but I'm trying to catch some of them, at least to be a watchman. According to experts, time itself changed. 2000 and changed again after 2020.
The United States appears to be preparing for a major military operation against Iran, according to multiple developing reports. In the past 24 hours, U.S. military aircraft were spotted flying dangerously close to Iranian airspace. Several aerial refueling tankers were also deployed, a clear sign that the U.S. may be preparing for long-duration air operations. Adding to the tension, strategic bombers were reportedly launched from a U.S. airbase in Qatar, increasing speculation that Washington is moving toward a possible strike. After these movements, several countries, including Canada, the United States, France, New Zealand, Japan, China, Ireland, Taiwan, Singapore, the UK, and Germany, issued urgent advisories telling their citizens in Iran to leave immediately. On the other side, Iran is responding fast. Iran's advanced air defense systems around key military sites, nuclear facilities, and major cities are believed to be on high alert. Iran's ballistic and cruise missile units are also expected to be placed on operational readiness, signaling Tehran's ability to respond to any attack. Meanwhile, the Iranian Navy and IRGC forces have reportedly increased patrols across the Persian Gulf. Breaking news: the United States,
they say, went 240,000 miles, 17,000 miles an hour, landed on the surface of the moon with rocket engines in a vacuum, left the surface of the moon, traveled another 250,000 miles, and splashed down in the Atlantic Ocean, where the astronauts were taken out. That exact thing, that's not even a replica. That's it. That's a meth head's treehouse. So when people are like, how dare you question the moon landing? Them. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. That's literal construction paper. It has United States written, like, United States. Like, look at the people at NASA Museum just like looking at it like, hey, buddy. So that went a 500,000 miles, and it went 20 times faster than the fastest jet with no, They get $60 million a day, NASA, and they're starting to get hysterical. I'm enjoying the ride, man. I'm about to buy a bike. Okay, NASA, there was an intern who stole moon rocks from NASA, spread the rocks on his bed, and had sex on them, resulting in contamination, making the rocks virtually useless to the scientific community. He was sentenced to more than 8 years in prison. Okay, when you know we never went to the moon, no one has, and no one ever can, and that all the moon rocks were all frauds, understand how funny these people are. It's satanic humor. It's not for everyone. They lied to a degree when they were like, oh, we can't use these moon rocks. And someone was like, why? They're like, because Gary f***ed on them. And they sent a guy to prison. Oh my God, that's so funny. That's just like the lies of children. They're like, oh, these rocks can't be used. I mean, they were spinning in an endless void for billions of years, but they're just unusable. Why? Because what happened is they tested the moon rocks and there was brass in all the moon rocks, just like little tiny particles of brass. And brass is man-made, so you can't have brass in moon rocks. The moon rock that the United States Corporation gave Holland was petrified wood. It's not even close, guys. When people are like, so let's test these moon rocks, it's like, oh no, they've been contaminated. Why? How are they contaminated? Well, that intern over there, and it's just some random guy like, huh? It's like, he on the moon rocks, and now they're just unusable, aren't they, Gary? Why'd you have to get your rocks off like that? And Gary's like, I'm a virgin. It's like, take them away, officers.
because we are having our memories distorted by engaging in content and internet, and it's making the amount of fond memories that we create farther and fewer in between. It makes time feel as if it's speeding up because we're chaining time to memory. And when we make less fond memories, we feel like we've experienced less time. And I think that's, to me, the significance of living in the moment and making the best of what you can with the life you got now. You know, be grateful for your blessings, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
All right, guys, don't go anywhere for Opas Corner and a Great Histories Mysteries, but I have to play 2 ads because I forgot to play one at the beginning. But I wanted to share with you guys our new partners at Adall XR, where you can get 10% off using Skiba 10, and this is an epic product, so let's go ahead and check that out. If you need real focus, listen up, fam. As a kid, I was diagnosed with ADD, and I always had a hard time concentrating, focusing, and being productive. I wanted to find something as natural as possible, and then that's when I found Adall XR. It changed my life, and I've been using it for years. It's unlike any other product. It actually helps me stay locked in, especially when researching, working, and pushing through long days. The best part is, there's no caffeine, no jitters, no crash. Just clean, focus, and steady energy. It's all natural, no big pharma. It's an answered prayer, but it's not for everyone. But a lot of professionals, students, and I swear by it. Also, if you're a caffeine person like me, they have you covered there too. With their product, Rapid Release and Mushrooms, for an extra boost with caffeine. I use it, I love it, and I think you will too. So go to adallxr.com and use code SKIVA10 at checkout to get 10% off your order. Focus starts here. There it is. I just got my 3rd bottle, the one in the middle, and it's pretty epic. It's cool that it's all natural and everything, so you can stay focused and, you know, have the same effects. You can be focused. I mean, I have a hard time staying focused, I will say, and it helps me. So go ahead and use code SKIBA10, and you can use any of the codes that they already have and build onto it with SKIBA10, so you can get an extra discount. So I thought I'd just let you guys know that. But now for some very important announcement, very special announcement. Opa and I have finally finished Charlie's Big Adventures, The Hunt for Bigfoot. This is part 2 of Charlie's Big Adventures, the first one, and it is pretty epic. So let's go ahead and play this ad. What if curiosity was the real adventure? Join Charlie, Bubba, and their new friend Juliet in Charlie's Big Adventures, The Hunt for Bigfoot, a cozy, rhyming children's story that inspires kids to think for themselves, ask questions, and work together. No fear, no heavy agendas, just imagination, strong morals, and love for discovery. Perfect for ages 4 to 8, and especially loved by homeschool families, parents, grandparents, and anyone who enjoys reading with the kids that they love. Charlie's Big Adventures, The Hunt for Bigfoot, available now on Amazon.
Check out our new and improved BabylonRisingBooks.com, where you can get Rob Skiba's books, bundles, DVDs, DVD-ROMs, videos, and so much more. You can even get Sheila and Jeremiah's books, so check it out now.
Yeah, I've been working so hard on so many different things that Lindsay has told me that I need to put my phone down, and so in honor of her, I'm gonna start putting my phone down at 8-ish, and so if you don't hear from me after 8, it's because I have a private life and a wife, and I love her very much and will respect that. So I'm also, this is something else I'm kind of working on, are some coloring book sheets for children to color. Wait, that's opposite, like this. So maybe I can make a coloring book, and I don't know, you guys let me know. And I also want to do a poll. What adventure should Charlie and his new friends go on this upcoming adventure, the next adventure, after you read this one? So let me know, and yeah, but I think it's about that time for an all-new Opas Corner. Take it away, Opa.
Mein Hut, der hat 3 Ecken. 3 Ecken hat mein Hut. Und hat nicht 3 Ecken, dann ist es nicht mein Hut.
The strange, the bizarre, the unexpected. These are the kinds of subjects a man named Robert L. Ripley challenged us to believe it or not.
Believe it or not.
Believe it or not, you.
Wally, believe it or not.
Believe it or not.
Believe it! You're a loony.
A blue whale's tongue can weigh as much as an adult female elephant. Believe it or not. Robotic pets are now being used as therapy for patients with dementia. Believe it or not.
I've seen one of those.
A group of unicorns is called a blessing. Believe it or not. Imperial Japanese Army officer Hiro Onoda remained at his jungle post in the Philippines for 29 years, refusing to believe that World War II was over. Believe it or not. An only child has never been the President of the United States.
Hey, I could be the first.
Believe it or not.
I'll vote for
Sylvester
you.
Stallone was so poor during the early days of his career, he had to sell his dog to make ends meet. After the success of Rocky, he was able to buy him back.
Oh,
Believe it
that's a sweet story.
or not. There are only 50 unique words used in Dr. Seuss's book, Green Eggs and Ham. Believe it or not. From 1953 to 1957, NBC's Today Show had a chimpanzee co-host named J. Fred Muggs.
That is awesome.
Believe it or not.
And horrifying.
At the biennial Melon Festival in Chinchilla, Australia, players can slip hollowed-out watermelons onto their feet and ski down a slippery tarp while holding on to a tow rope. Believe it or not. The first historical record of the ampersand symbol was in some wall graffiti in the ancient city of Pompeii, dating back to the 1st century. Believe it
That's interesting.
or not.
Deep thoughts with the tie-dye rabbi. How to hold the universe inside. He said, I don't know, but I got high hopes. So come on, let's go.
When counting sheep last night, I discovered all odd numbers contain the letter E. Taco salads are great if you don't want anyone noticing that you're eating 15 tacos. Hyphenated doesn't have a hyphen, but non-hyphenated does. The word verb is a noun. Why is being up for something and being down for something is the same thing? If you put a pizza on top of another pizza, you have two pizzas. But if you put lasagna on top of another lasagna, you only have one lasagna. Today I saw a woman talking to her dog as if the dog really understood her. I told my cat when I got home. We had a good laugh. Egg salad is still chicken salad. John the Baptist and Winnie the Pooh have the same middle name. If it's a penny for your thoughts, why do people want to put in their 2 cents worth?
Opas blast from the past. 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 Opas blast from the past.
Come on in. It's Art Linkletter's
House Party. Lux Liquid.
Pinto Blue, the 2-in-1 detergent. And Dove of Clean Your Skin.
Man,
While You
Dove's
Walk.
been around
And
forever.
now from San Diego, here's the star of our show, Art Linkletter.
Hickory dickory dock, time to beat the clock.
Huh.
Time for fun has now begun. Let's all play beat the clock.
That looks like it was Disney
Beat
animated.
the Clock is brought to you by Sylvania, a quality name in lighting, photo lamps, radio tubes, television, electronics.
Let's all play beat the clock.
Now, here is America's #1 clock watcher, Bud Kyer.
Yay!
Leave it to Beaver.
I used to love this show when I was a kid.
Starring Barbara Billingsley, Hugh Beaumont, Tony Dow, and Jerry Mathers as the Beaver.
Presented by Winston, the cigarette that changed America's mind about filter smoking.
Oh my god.
Winston tastes good,
So funny.
like a cigarette should.
Doctor
Now,
recommended.
Winston filter cigarettes bring you America's #1 panel show. I've Got a
Don't
Secret,
smoke, kids.
Starring Gary Moore.
Yeah. I would have loved to see this show.
Starring June Lockhart, Hugh Riley, John Provost as Timmy, and, of course, Lassie.
Oh, but what year of a Corvette is that?
That one's probably a 59, 58, something like that.
And what year did you want one? It was the red one with the white trigger scoops, and it was 1956?
Yeah, 56.
Someday I'll get you one. Just for looksies, even.
The little red dot? Oh, that's right. Nobody can catch it in theaters. Roman report cards. All C's, honey. I believe our boy is going to be valedictorian. Perfect scores again. Santa after the holidays. Nick's roof repair. Where is my human? You'll always know. It tells you where they are and predicts with amazing accuracy when they'll come home. I never thought I'd see this in my lifetime. Before paper and scissors. Dang! Try again. Ready. 1, 2, 3. K Wong, H Wong, M Wong, S Wong, C Wong, J Wong, L Wong, ground floor. That's Wong on so many levels. The results are back. You're just dehydrated. I stuck my head in front of the screen and they all started talking about what a good boy I am. It was awesome. Yeah, Zoom bombing is the best. It's about your missing husband, ma'am. You should prepare for the worst. Oh my God! You mean he's coming back? Law office. So we'll need your company to quit making that zesty salad we copyrighted. So, this is a Caesar and desist order? I don't know why you're so uptight about flying, Marcus. I mean, statistically, you're safer in the air than you are on the ground. Marcus? Wyatt, AARP. You gotta stop them, Sheriff. They're coming for our Social Security. They'll have to pry it out of my cold, dead hands. Well, if it isn't Joseph and Mary. Our son is an honor student. Our son is in medical school. Our son is God. Turns out all those gifts work for me. Goldfish Little Brothers. Sandy, your blind date's here, and it's one of those kind with the eyes bugged way out. Have you considered the possibility that you're only running from yourself? Complaints, pet peeves. I'm forced to eat the same lousy kibble night after night.
Next window, sir.
Do you have breath mints, Native Americans, or Himalayan mountain guides? No certs, no Sioux, no Sherpas. I say there, Watson. I think we've found a boat.
No ship, Sherlock.
RSPCA, I just found 3 cats in a suitcase by the side of the road.
Are they moving?
I'm not certain, but that would explain the suitcase. Crocodiles don't swim here. Auf Wiedersehen! Das ist alles für Opas Corner.
Mein Hut, der hat 3 Ecken. 3 Ecken hat mein Hut. Und hat er nicht 3 Ecken, dann ist es nicht mein Hut. Mein Hut, der hat 3 Ecken. 3 Ecken hat mein Hut. Und hat er nicht 3 Ecken, dann ist es nicht mein Hut.
Opas Corner is now available on my own YouTube channel. Like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you, Opa, for another great Opas Corner. Now, a quick word from our good friend, Kristen. Are you a content creator, podcaster, or show host trying to do it all on your own? Booking guests, moderating chats, creating timestamps, and scheduling interviews? It's exhausting. That's where Kristen and Fellow Helper Agency comes in. Kristen is the ultimate behind-the-scenes pro. She makes sure your show runs smooth from start to finish. Whether it's securing an amazing guest, keeping your community engaged, or handling the scheduling chaos, you can count on her. Imagine focusing on creating great content while Kristen takes care of all the rest. Professional, reliable, and trusted. If you're serious about growing your show and building your audience, you need Kristen on your team. Visit fellowhelperagency.com today because the right help changes everything. Thank you, Kristen. It's time for an all-new History's Mysteries. So this week for History's Mysteries, we'll be talking about Stanley Meyer. And for those of y'all who don't know who he is an American inventor. He's best known for creating the water-powered car. He shocked the world with it and was taken out as death was very suspicious. Joe Rogan even talked about it. So let's go ahead and start with this first clip.
Water car yelled, they poisoned me. And then he dies? Yeah.
How about that?
How about that?
Research gone.
You imagine you're some Texas oil guy and you find out about some dip Long Island that figured out a water car. Like, ain't we seeing someone up there to talk to this fella? Yeah, like you're realizing your empire's about to collapse in front of your face.
And the fact that actually happened.
Yeah. What happened to the water car? Apparently you drive across the whole country on a tank or something. That water car guy, what was the official cause of death?
Aneurysm. Stanley Meyer is his name.
Yeah, they got him with the old aneurysm gun.
There's been a few of those guys, though, who found some other ways of doing it.
Yeah, I mean, what a coincidence. What a coincidence that a guy who develops an engine that runs on 3/4 of the Earth's surface, that everybody has coming out of their tap, that everybody has, it's everywhere. You can buy it at the store, it's in your swimming pool, you swim in it, and that could be fuel. And it would just, what would it release? Mist? Nothing.
That makes too
Steam.
much sense. Yeah.
Probably be good for the environment. Probably help the trees.
Yeah, but climate change.
We're spreading all that mist out there, probably help the trees grow. Be nice. Be greener. You know?
would plant some more trees.
Imagine if that did it and all of a sudden Los Angeles started raining all the time.
On a cold March evening in 1998, in a restaurant parking lot in Grove City, Ohio, an inventor named Stanley Meyer stumbled out of the door clutching his throat. Suddenly, he gasped, whispered the words, "They poisoned me," and collapsed onto the pavement. Within minutes, he was dead, and with him died what many believe was one of the most revolutionary energy technologies in human history, a water-fueled engine. Stanley Meyer was not a conventional scientist, but an independent thinker with a deep curiosity about physics and chemistry. Born in 1940, he spent much of his life experimenting in his garage, chasing ideas that mainstream engineers dismissed as impossible. His most famous invention, the water fuel cell, was a device he claimed could power an automobile using nothing but ordinary water.
A local inventor has discovered a way, hear this, to use water to run your car.
The tubular array exciters or voltage zones are immersed in natural water, forming the water fuel cell. Once energized, the gases are quickly generated on demand, releasing energy in the form of hydrogen gas that is 2.5 times more powerful than gasoline.
If his claims were true, they would overturn the foundations of the energy industry. A car running on water would need no gasoline, no oil, and no fossil fuels of any kind. The implications were staggering. Clean, renewable energy from a resource available everywhere on Earth. But such a breakthrough, as many before him had learned, threatened powerful interests. From the moment Meyer went public with his invention, he began facing skepticism, harassment, and, eventually, events that many still interpret as deliberate suppression.
So, I mean, when you have a really great invention, you have haters. I mean, that's just the truth. And he created the water fuel cell, which powered the car. I mean, that's just so amazing to me. This right here could power a car. And that was, I mean, I remember hearing about this a long time ago and just thinking, wow, I mean, what an invention. But that would mean that the bigwigs at the big oil, big gas, traditional fuel people would be very upset and they would try to discredit you, which is what they did. So let's go ahead and watch a second clip.
Meyer's water fuel cell was based on a simple but radical idea. In standard electrolysis, electricity splits water into hydrogen and oxygen, but it consumes more energy than the hydrogen can release when burned. Meyer claimed to have overcome this limitation using high-frequency electrical pulses to resonate with the water molecules, weakening the bonds between hydrogen and oxygen. He called the process resonant electrolysis and said it required only milliamps of current to produce vast amounts of gas.
Alloy rods, acting as electrodes, are housed in a perspex container that's filled with water. Normal mains voltage is fed in through a transformer, but critically, there is virtually no current consumed, less than ½ amp. Meyer claims the key is his electronics, which pulses electricity rapidly across the rods at up to 20,000 cycles per second.
He patented his system in the 1980s and demonstrated it to journalists, engineers, and investors. Witnesses reported seeing water-powered dune buggies driving down Ohio roads without gasoline. When asked how it worked, Meyer explained that the key lay in tuning the electrical frequency to the natural resonance of the water molecule, making it disassociate efficiently. He claimed that by doing so, water became a viable fuel source, one that could revolutionize transportation and energy production. The device attracted both fascination and hostility. Some scientists dismissed it as a misunderstanding of physics, saying his claims violated the laws of thermodynamics. Yet others who examined the device in person left uncertain, unable to explain its apparent performance. One physicist later said, "If it's a fraud, it's the most convincing one I've ever seen." Meyer's garage became a target of curiosity, with journalists, researchers, and government officials all showing up to see the impossible machine for themselves. The car itself was a modified dune buggy equipped with water tanks, stainless steel cylinders, and electronic control units. Meyer insisted that no hidden fuel sources were involved. He would pour in water, flip a switch, and the engine would roar to life. According to his claims, a single gallon of water could drive the car across the United States. To his followers, it was proof that he had cracked one of science's oldest mysteries, how to free hydrogen cheaply and safely from water. As his invention gained attention, Meyer began receiving offers from around the world. Foreign governments, private investors, and large corporations wanted access to the technology. He refused most of them, saying he feared his discovery would be purchased and buried. "I wanted to go to the people," he often said, "not the corporations." That decision, some believe, sealed his fate.
I've turned down over $1 billion cold cash from our friendly neighborhood Arabs, never to do anything and stop on this technology. But the purpose is, we pay out over $200 billion. We pay out over $200 billion to the Arabs for petro oil to maintain our industrial base. They would pay $200 billion to keep this type of technology off. So now I've imparted this responsibilities to you. The only way that we're going to bring it in, and history has shown time and time again, it's only going to come in through you and I. So I impart this responsibilities to you. We can invent and develop the technology. We can go through and fight all of our battles and our warfare and to win. But in the final analysis, it's going to come up to you. And you're going to have to make the decision whether or not you want this type of technology to come in and perhaps solve the environmental pollution problems, perhaps keep food on the table and keep industry alive, and to be able to help clean up the environment so that we can stay on this little planet, which we call the spaceship. Thank you, and have a nice day. Thank you.
So that moment right there, I believe, is what sealed his fate. He sounds a lot to me like Henry Ford. He wanted the everyman to have it. He didn't want to sell out. And I respect that in a man who, he just stuck it to him by saying, screw you, big oil companies. That's the coolest thing ever. And, so now we're going to be playing this next clip, which will talk more about his demise and other things. I think he is so brilliant. He should be included in the line, like in the same list as Nikola Tesla and all these other great inventors. So check this out.
In 1993, he was sued by two investors who accused him of fraud after paying for rights to his technology and receiving no functional prototypes. The court ruled against him, labeling his claims gross and egregious fraud. Meyer maintained that the legal system had been manipulated by powerful interests who wanted to discredit him. He said that his patents had been stolen and that he was under surveillance. Those close to him recalled that he had become increasingly paranoid, convinced that his phones were tapped and his life was in danger. Despite the controversy, Meyer continued working. He appeared in interviews and documentaries, showcasing his technology and talking about its potential to end global energy dependence. He spoke with religious fervor, calling water God's fuel and claiming his invention was divinely inspired. His final years were filled with both hope and fear. In 1997, he signed preliminary agreements with European investors to fund a research facility for large-scale development. It seemed his vision might finally come to fruition, yet those who knew him said he was deeply uneasy, convinced that they were watching him. He told his brother that people had tried to buy his silence and that he refused. Within months, he was dead. The official cause of death was a cerebral aneurysm, a natural event according to medical examiners. But to many who knew Meyer, the timing and his last words, "They poisoned me," were too coincidental to ignore. His brother, Stephen Meyer, has always maintained that Stanley's death was suspicious. The Belgian investors present that night denied any wrongdoing and returned to Europe, leaving more questions than answers. For believers, it was clear evidence that his discovery had been silenced. After his death, the water fuel cell disappeared from public view. His workshop was raided and sealed by local authorities, reportedly to secure his estate. Some claimed that government agents confiscated his notes and prototypes. Others said that critical components were stolen or destroyed before investigators arrived. Whatever the truth, no complete version of his working system ever resurfaced. Meyer had once said that the energy industry was not built to encourage innovation, but to maintain control. He compared the oil economy to a technological dictatorship, where new discoveries were suppressed to protect profits. His supporters point to other inventors who met similar fates. We've made numerous videos on the suppression of Nikola Tesla's inventions. The pattern of discovery, discrediting, and disappearance seems almost ritual. Meyer's story fits neatly into that lineage, a modern parable of power versus progress. To skeptics, it is coincidence. To believers, it is proof that free energy is the world's most dangerous secret. The concept itself remains technically appealing. Hydrogen, after all, is the most abundant element in the universe, and burning it produces only water vapor. If a low-energy process for splitting water truly existed, it could end pollution and reshape geopolitics. Oil-producing nations would lose dominance, and centralized utilities would collapse. Such consequences provide strong motives for suppression. Whether those motives led to Meyer's death, however, remains impossible to prove. If Stanley Meyer was a fraud, he gained little from deception. He lived modestly, never growing rich from his claims, and spent most of his life working alone in his workshop. If he was genuine, his death represents one of the greatest losses in technological history. Either way, he left behind a narrative too compelling to ignore, a man who promised freedom from oil and died whispering that he had been silenced for it.
So it's just amazing to me. It's crazy that the government was able to go in there right after he died. It reminds me so much of Nikola Tesla. And Jake, what are your thoughts? You drinking some Stanley water?
I say if I could run a car off of this water here, I think that would be really, really cool. And I think the creative exploratory options that would unlock is amazing. Because if you think about it, what is the one thing that keeps somebody from exploring the corners of edges of the earth, right?
Water.
Well, it's fuel. It's the ability to traverse that terrain. And if you had something that could be fueled on water, something that's abundant in the, world around us, then you could basically explore forever.
Do you believe that? Do you believe it?
I think there's all sorts of secrets of reality that we're just starting to be able to tap into. I think AI is unlocking some of that information for the everyday people, and that knowledge was locked behind a lot of esoteric occult passing down through the ages as different societies, their lineage receives the inheritance of not only wealth but knowledge. And different people that conquer other people take away the knowledge of the past from, and so where that all sifted down throughout the ages of how to, manipulate matter and alchemy and all that, I think that's what we're seeing with the UFOs and all this technology that people are witnessing that is just so far beyond anything we've ever seen before. It's because there's somebody that understands how reality is programmed and works, and they're able to tap into it and manipulate it.
So do you think his product worked, and do you think he was murdered? Those are my...
I think it's possible I think it is possible he made something that was extraordinary, and I think there are suspicious circumstances surrounding his death.
Okay, thank you.
That's about as close as I can state anything without getting myself on a hit list by some kind of oil exec somewhere, apparently. Alleged, according to this video.
Yeah. But what about you? What do you think about it?
Well, when I was a teenager growing up, there were all kinds of inventions that were basically good to help reduce pollution and what have you. And they all got kind of like picked up by the auto industry and then just sort of put under the rug, and you never saw them again. And the water thing back in the 90s was essentially the same thing. I understood that at the time that after he died, that one of the big auto companies or something got his patents and basically swept it under the rug, and it wasn't available anymore. And I'm sure that big oil was also helping out to get rid of that. Yes, I think he did do something. I think he did create an engine that ran on water, and I do think that his death is extremely suspicious. The other interesting thing is that recently I've seen that a couple of auto companies have started developing hydrogen fuel.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. I wonder if they have the patents. So I'd be interested to look into that.
Yeah, the patents should be theoretically available online. I know it's public knowledge type thing. It's not something that's hidden that you can't get to, but unless somehow somebody got in there and removed it or modified it.
Yeah, when I was doing some research for this, I was it said that he had so many patents, and it was pretty crazy. But that is the story of Stanley Meyer. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I want to know what you guys think. Do you think his invention worked? Do you think his death was suspicious? Me, I think both. But anyways, it's time to, lighten the mood a little bit. And, like I always say, if you laugh at any of these videos, tell me which one was your favorite in the comment section. And if you are offended by any of these videos or jokes, I'm sorry that you're offended. So let's play it.
Hashi, how old are you? What are you wishing? What are you wishing for? A lot of money. How much money do you want? A lot of money. How much money? It's millions of dollars.
What are you supposed to be for Halloween tonight?
George Floyd.
Oh.
Thanks. What if instead of Winnie the Pooh, his name was Winnie the Jew? And instead of spending all day eating honey, he spent his day thinking of creative ways to steal your money.
Well, I'ma roll me a dookie ball. I'ma dip it in some dookie soup.
Never forget,
I'ma eat it
Jake
with my
defended
bare hand. Lick the rest off my fingers too. I'ma roll me a dookie ball. Dip it in some dookie soup. Eat it with my bare hand.
There's some good food in the world that doesn't look good.
Too.
I had to add this to it. Indian food. No forks needed.
On this episode of Tweaker Geographic, this is not a side quest. This is the main mission. Using a vacuum in the grass, going against all aspects of logic, reason, and judgment. This creature is on the hunt for what researchers call tweaker treasure. A penny will not suffice. A nickel is not adequate. But if this creature can acquire a few dimes,
vacuuming up
even
ants.
a quarter, the future will be bright and filled with
She's
euphoria.
vacuuming those pesky ants.
How to keep this in there? Shabbat.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Shabbat shalom.
What is that on their head, Jake?
Hey, we Sabbath keepers know how to party.
I do jujitsu. Is that the same thing?
Huh?
I do jujitsu. Is that the same thing? I do jujitsu.
Oh, okay, why are you Jewish? Is your mother Jewish?
I do jujitsu.
This is the problem right here. See these motherfuckers? They're closed. It says they're closed. Go home.
On this episode of Tweaker Geographic, we observe an urban drifter escorting her supply stroller through the concrete wild. The tweaker initiates a deeply personal crack cleaning ritual.
Jake, we need to go to one of these, but kids, do not try this at home. Please.
We got something like that here out here in Kentucky.
Find the best one and I'll go with you. Sand Mountain Cotton.
We have an ayahuasca church in Kentucky.
Oh.
We will talk about Jews, and that is it. Jew.
Can I give you? We call it Hitler's biggest fan, and we are going to pitch it to Shark Tank. What do you guys think? So this one cracked me up. Not everything is a conspiracy. Like they always say, if you make any kind of facial movement, you must be in the Illuminati.
Is Harriet Tubman in the Epstein files?
I'll have what he's having.
Call J.G. Wentworth, 877 Cash Now.
How do you talk without a brain?
I'm a Democrat.
Hey, I notice your kids both look retarded. They do. Your kids look like retards. How many
So this one's not
As
funny,
you're
but
getting
great
married,
advice.
like your wedding's next month?
Yeah, on the 10th.
Okay, so she's calling you all the time with like, hey, I've got all these decisions. Like, what color do you want the napkins? How many people should be in the pictures? This is happening to you, I know for a fact. Your instinct is always gonna be, baby, you got this. I trust you. You make the decision. She hears from you. He doesn't care. He's not interested. Don't say that. What you say is, she said, should we have orange or pink napkins? Say pink, obviously. She'll go, well, I like the orange. And you say, that's absolutely right, orange. We need orange napkins. How many people should be at wedding pictures? You say 15. She'll be like, well, I wanted 12. Yeah, that's right, 12. She wants you to engage. She wants you to make the decision. When in fact, she's really making the decision. You'll have this problem with dinner. Let's go to dinner Friday night. Where do you want to go? And you'll be like, wherever you want to go, baby. And she'll hear, he doesn't care about going to dinner with me. You say, I want to go to the Italian place. She'll say, I hate Italian. I want to go Chinese. And you say to her, Italian's disgusting. We're going to the Chinese place.
I like that.
It's real. It's the most real thing. And you will save so much sadness and drama in your household. She'll totally relax and be like, he's got this. Even though you just repeated her choice back to her. And that's basically marriage in a sentence.
I will say that last video was sent to me by my lovely wife, Lindsay, and I will start doing all those things. But it is, I mean, it's you know, just different brains. I mean, male and female, we're different, you know, and I can totally do that for you, babe. Jake, what was your favorite?
I think my wife sent me that same video at some point. Man, I think they're trying to tell us something. You know, it's like a little nod into the ether of, you know, mystery and intrigue. That is the mind of woman.
Yeah, well, I mean, we just gotta engage. You know, just come up with something. You know, and it'll all work out.
Thank you for loving us.
Yeah, thank you
for. Everyone needs to be
My
loved.
life
and
belongs to you.
Chose, you know, we recognize your role. Thank you.
Yes. Shout out to all the good women out there. Opa, what was your favorite?
I like the Scarecrow and Dorothy.
Oh yeah, Opa submitted that one. I'm a Democrat. Yeah, it was pretty funny. All right, well, you guys let me know at home which one was your favorite. Any parting words, gentlemen?
Yes, I think Shabbat Shalom and Shabbat Good Night.
Alrighty then. Thank you, Jake, for another great current news as always. Opa, thank you for another great Opas Corner, and we hope you enjoyed today's episode as a whole. Stay awake, not woke, subscribe, and stay tuned.
Happy trails to you until we meet again.
I can't hold this pose. No. If you like what we do here on Skiba News Nation, please like and subscribe. And also share with others so we can grow the biggest truth-seeking community on the internet. Huge shout out to all of our Patreons out there. If you like bonus content, you want some extra Skiba News Nation stuff, please go to patreon.com/Skiba News Nation.
Son of the legendary Ross Jeremiah Skiba.
It's like they don't even want to wake up.
He's on a quest for truth.